Say ham. Ham? Ham for the camera? On the smoking deck, there was Ed, and Chris, and Brianna, and one other guy. I don't know what he studied, but I don't even know if he's a business student or not, but we didn't usually talk about business, so that wasn't really relevant, except that we did have common educational interests. But Chris said that he had seen me at CBC when I'd have lunch with Amber, and I think I remember him a little bit, but not from any classes. Could have been from the hub or briefly, but his dad started a vitrification company, which is when they take sand and mix it with nuclear waste and then shoot it with high amounts of electricity to cook it, melt it into, well, there's different kinds of vitrification. The kind that his dad's company did was in situ, which means that they had done tests at Hanford where they cooked clean sand, sections of clean sand at Hanford, and then take months to cool off. Those are test runs. And I had seen a sample of in situ vitrification hanging off a crane like a popsicle stick years earlier. And there had been talk about building a vitrification plant, which is where they would mix it with the highly toxic waste from the tanks, the 55 million gallon tanks, gallons of highly radioactive waste, and then melt it into logs and then store them. But he gave me some samples, pocket samples. There was a purple sharp one and a yellow orange one and one other one, which I gave to Greg and Grandpa. Back in '92, my mentor Jim Barber told me about that he had transferred from the vitrification construction on the East Coast was in Savannah River, which I believe it's in South Carolina. Could be Georgia, I'm not sure, I'd have to look. And he said that they had been working on that for a decade, trying to get the kinks out of it. And the Germans had built 3 plants 30 years before that. And, well, no. I read an article back then in the Hanford paper that said that the Germans had built 3 plants and had to shut them down due to heavy metal sinking to the bottom. I don't know what time frame that would have been, but I read the article back in '92. It's just a small article. And they still hadn't gotten the vitrification plant on the East Coast going yet at this time. They would fire it up around 2000 or so, I guess. I'd have to go look that up. Hanford produced 2/3 of our country's plutonium, some 60 metric tons, 60 tons or so. And the other, Savannah River, produced the rest of it. And they are newer. They built Savannah River after Hanford, of course. Hanford had the first reactor in the world to be full scale, B reactor. And so Savannah River was newer, and they used, Hanford tried half a dozen different processes for extracting plutonium, and the waste streams were different for all of them. And Savannah River used one. And so all of their waste stream was uniform, or relatively uniform, compared to Hanford's. So that's why we couldn't use the design that they used for Hanford's vitrification plant.